official hi, good morning, Doodle Crew and Doodle Crew friends. Happy Saturday morning cartoons. Hello!
Hello!
We're going to see how long my voice lasts because I yelled a lot last night. So I'm going to talk a whole bunch at the top and then try not to talk much. But yeah, we're back consistently. Season 3 kicking off. We are enjoying our first Saturday morning cartoons of the new season. And for today, we are going to focus on some underrated cartoon characters. And I'm excited because I brought this topic to my podcast on Wednesday, and I enjoy the difference in opinion on what is underrated from all of my art friends, a lot of whom went to animation school and have some really obscure animated characters that they like, versus, we'll say, the general populace who has pretty known characters but are underrated in that sense. So I would love to go around. Let's do the introduction thing. Let's talk about what character you're going to focus on. Mayor Squish, we're going to you first.
Hello, I'm Mayor Squish. So I don't know if this is truly, if these are truly underrated characters. I chose to go with the Yugopotamians from the Fairly Odd Parents, which are like the aliens who are repulsed and like scared of anything cute, and like candy is lethal to them or something. I don't know if they're truly underrated because I've always loved them, but I thought it would be fun to draw some aliens today.
I love that. No, I also, Fairly Odd Parents was good. Like, it was getting more into my sister's generation of cartoons, but it was one of those where I'm like, oh no, I'm happy to watch this. This is delightful. We can move out of Dora very quickly and do more of this. But yeah, where can people find you across the internet?
You can find me pretty much anywhere at Mayor Squish. I'm on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, I think, Etsy, just all over the place.
Yeah, excellent. All right, and going to you, Joey. Hi, welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
It's me. When we talk strong female characters from the 80s, I don't think this particular character gets enough mentions, and that is Scarlet from G.I. Joe, who was the original female member of the team. She led the team, was a black belt and martial artist on scale with the male martial artist in the show on both teams. That being Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. So they had a lot of storylines that tied together. She was basically Duke's second in command, led her own missions often in the series. So we're gonna show Scarlet some love today.
Yay! And hey, if people want to show you love, where can they do that?
You can find me everywhere on the internet and gaming at Slooty Mage.
And are you currently open for commissions?
I certainly am, almost always. I have a little bit of a backlog right now, but I can get to it if you want to commission something.
Excellent. And another wonderful returning artist. Hello, Jeff.
Hello. So today I actually have 3 different sets of 2 that I'm going to focus on because I tend to draw fast. And I'm going to try not to color today because coloring is hard. But yeah, I'm Jeff Munn. I can be found at Jeff Munn on Twitter, or not on Twitter, but on Instagram. It's still early. I'm still drinking my coffee. And on Facebook, and I am on Twitter as GMunny, GMUNNY. I don't post there often. If I do, it's usually just an Instagram post or a post from my Patreon, which is patreon.com/pocketscience. Feel free to go there and check that out, where I sparingly update that with comics, which I will update before I send out to the general public, usually a few days ahead. And trying to get back into the swing of designing a video game. So, we'll be seeing some updates on that from there.
Yay! Okay, so who are your duos today?
So the first duo is Rocco and Heifer from Rocco's Modern Life.
Yes.
Nice. The second duo is going to be Hank and Dean Venture from Venture Brothers.
Nice.
Wonderful.
And the third set is going to be Thomas and High Five Ghost from Regular Show.
Yes.
Ooh, okay. I like it. I feel like Regular Show really flies under the radar.
Yeah, it's one of my the thing that I love and hate it. Like, I love Regular Show, but I hate it because it's basically the same thing as my old webcomic kiosk, only with some like
Right.
extra supernatural stuff, and they're animal characters or random bubblegum machine type characters instead of humans. So you know, they kind of beat me to the whole animated part. So I'm a little mad about it, but it's all right.
Yep. Nope, I feel that. I like it. Well, I'm very excited. Also, kudos to you for giving us a fighting chance to finish at the same time.
That's right.
You.
Yeah.
I am not fast, but hey, I decided to do multiple characters too because why not? But yeah, today like I was saying, I mentioned it to my podcast and I let them throw out some options for me. So I'm gonna first tackle the fuzzy little adorable creatures called the Grungies from the Jetsons movie. So they're a little Ewok looking thing. So I'm going to warm up with something cute. And then I'm going to jump over and I'm going to draw the character, the Max, from Liquid TV and MTV and all of that. And also in the comic book. So we'll see how much I get done. I will also probably not color because that will slow me down significantly. But if you want to see some of my other stuff, you can follow me across the internet at a swan named Emily. Also on this channel, this is where we do Doodle Crew. All of the Doodle Crew episodes end up over on my YouTube. They're all broken down by seasons. You can also see interviews with all of the artists and contact for all of them there. So, yeah, like I said, I'm going to stop talking as much and get you drawing. But I'm very excited. I'm excited about this one. At first, like, after I figured out the idea, and then I was like, shoot, I have no idea what I'm going to draw. So, but we made it. We got there. Look at these little precious babies. Hebe says, yes, Twitter is where the spicy goes. It's true. It's true. I like that some of my friends are significantly spicier on Twitter than they are anywhere else. And it's good. Also, hi, hello, good morning, he who is Steve. Nice to see you. We've missed you. Yeah, chat. I would also love to know while we are working on the sketch stuff, what are some underrated characters were you on this episode you would have picked? Oh, Randall, getting right to it already. Oh, I do love that. So Randall says, probably would have done Gene Starwin from Outlaw Star. They all get overshadowed by Spike and Cowboy Bebop. Yeah, Outlaw Star was really good.
Mm-hmm.
It was way better than I think it got credit for. And it's tough because it had a very similar feel in certain aspects to Cowboy Bebop, but very, very different in where the story arcs went. And I sometimes feel that Cowboy Bebop could get a little dark and a little heavy at times, whereas Outlaw Star also heavy, but still kept the fun. Also, amazing intro and outro music. Just absolutely top notch. Yeah, I had something else I was going to say. Totally forgot. Who knows?
Classic
Saturday morning. Well, I was telling Nicole earlier before we went live, I was looking up just some reference because I, as a kid growing up, I never drew cute bear characters, whether it was these guys or Care Bears or any of the other various bear characters we had. Like, that was just not my jam. So I was trying to look up like cute. I was like, okay, Care Bears had a lot of cute posing and they did a lot of stuff. And there's a newer, like, redesigned Care Bears that are super cute.
Yeah, those are great.
They're really good. Like, I was blown away. Hebe, you mean something else, and I know it. Also, can we just shout out the amazing line from Inside Out where they're in San Francisco? So I saw a guy who looked like a bear. Amazing. Also in the Lewis Black voice, which is just tremendous.
I'm gonna draw 2 hands and a foot. I guess I am.
God, you're a maniac. Have those moments where I'll make the decision based on what's going to look the best from like a composition standpoint, and then I sit back and I'm like, you did this to yourself. You chose this path. You didn't have to do this, but you did. Now here we are. So how is your semester going, Jeff? Are you at the end? I know we had talked about that a little bit last time, but
Yeah, so the session that we're teaching right now for the high school kids is almost over. Thank goodness. We have like 1 week of teaching left, and then a week of like wrap up type stuff. So I'm happy that that's almost done.
yeah.
But as far as college goes, that's been done since April.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I genuinely have no concept of college schedules now that I'm not doing like sports stuff for work anymore. And, you know, our college schedule never made any sense. So I'm just like, I've never really truly understood what other people
I
do.
know. Yeah, it's and even like Point Park finished before other schools around here too. So I was like, oh, like we're graduating people, and people are still like, oh, I gotta take my finals, and I'm like, okay, I don't know any of this stuff now. Like college makes no sense.
Yeah. So Nicole, do your school systems follow the same general outline as some of ours, or is it?
What do you mean exactly? Like
I guess I mean
schedule wise, or
yeah.
Yeah, well, kind of. So we kind of differ by state, but we have our states grouped together in like groups of 3.
Okay.
So it's basically all the same, but some things are just like shifted 1 or 2 weeks. But yeah, we guys get a lot more summer break time than you do. Sorry.
That's okay. It's fine. I mean, then I become an adult and I just work all the time and there is no break.
Same.
So. Because I think it's funny just in, you know, I'm close to the Pennsylvania border here. So you have schools that are only, we'll say maybe 20 miles apart, but one of them, they finish at the beginning, like the end of May, they're wrapping up, where then the schools in New York are going into like mid-June for high school before. Like I didn't graduate until like the 25th of June, my senior year of high school. So like it's very weird. But then we don't start until after Labor Day in September, whereas the Pennsylvania schools are going back in August. So that's high school.
I don't think there's any schools here that go back in August. I think it's all just the first or second week of September.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I think I also graduated mid-June, I want to say. I think the graduation ceremony was like the 13th or something.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, so since I am focusing to start on cute little bears, I need to know where did the rest of the Doodle friends on this stand on Ewoks? Did we like the Ewoks? Did we dislike the Ewoks? What are our feelings?
I think the Ewoks were fine. I thought
Right.
it was a little absurd that, they were able to mount a complete destruction of an Imperial battalion, but it was home turf, I guess.
Yeah.
Wicket's cool.
I liked Wicket. I kind of feel like that when I'm crawling around things that are way too tall for me and just kind of tipping over and falling over. Also, what up, Kurt? I'm going back, catching up on chat. He who is Steve says, what is summer break? Sounds made up. Agreed. And also, I don't know any Ewoks, so I can't speak to their character. Very diplomatic of you. View by Kurt says, they served a purpose, but people forget that it looked like they were about to eat the stormtroopers. Like, there's a part of me that loves the the darker side of the Ewoks, where at the end when we're happily playing the most amazing song in all of Star Wars canon that then got changed for some stupid reason, they're banging on the empty helmets, and you could choose to think that they just popped those helmets off and stole them, or that they devoured the person inside and then kept the helmet. I like the darkness of there.
I mean, they were going to sacrifice Luke and Han.
Exactly.
They're mean little dudes.
Well, I like the idea of two, one on their own or two. Really, they can't do that much, but
right.
They have the numbers. Yeah, they just start to overwhelm you because there's just so many of them. Oh, soapbox clouds! I love this. Pop them off and have the forbidden storm treaters inside. I love it. Yep. So good. Yeah, Steve, you think so? Steve says he's throwing down bets. I think he could take 6 Ewoks. It's optimistic. I like it. Now, is this in just surface level hand-to-hand combat, or are weapons allowed? I'm not saying traps. Traps are a whole separate thing. Okay, but can we talk about how much fun a one-off D&D campaign would be of Ewoks versus adventurers? Because Ert says, I could take more if I could use one as a weapon. If weapons are allowed, I could at least take 10 because I got reach on them. Oh, good. I like this. Okay, see, Soapbox Clots, then you made it real. This is the classic question of how many children would it take to overwhelm you in a fight?
1.
The resounding voice of the parent.
The answer is 1. I don't care who you are.
Oh, that'd be fun. He who is Steve says, FPS game where you fight Ewok swarms as a stormtrooper squad. I love it. I'd play it. Hey, Chad, this is why I love and appreciate you so much, because you take these questions that I throw out to you and you just make them better. You give back so much. Also, I'm giving my little guy some booty. He's got some grungy booty. Are you serious? Battlefront 2 has an Ewok versus Troopers mode? Stop it. I might need that. set on Endor at night. Nice. I'd also be curious to see what other like wildlife exists on Endor, because you really don't see much else other than the Ewoks, and they've got all these traps set, which leads me to believe that you would be trapping larger animals to eat. So like I want to know what the Ewoks are hunting. I have to believe there is an extended universe book that talks about it. There are so many books in the Star Wars extended universe. Now, did you watch the Ewok movies? Which I'm blanking on the name, not the Star Wars movie, but the actual movies made about Ewoks.
No. Do you remember those were a thing, though?
Because, yeah. There was Ewoks, The Battle for Endor. That's the one I remember watching. And then apparently there is the the Caravan of Courage, an Ewok adventure. One from 84 and one from 85. I definitely watched the one because it had a little blonde girl on the front of the cover, and I liked that.
You were like, that's me.
That's me! He Who is Steve owns both of them on DVD. Nice. And we just blew Hebe's mind with, there's more than one? Was it really Drew Barrymore? Are you serious? Not that I mean, I believe you. But that's insane to me. Oh, I was going to say, like, I feel like I'd remember that, but, you know, they came out before I was born, so who knows when I was actually watching them.
I mean, the timeline makes sense. That's right around the same time as Firestarter, so
Yeah.
pretty sure.
Now you have to tell us who it actually was, Steve. I did remember that. Warwick Davis did return for those. I enjoy him, and Willow is a favorite movie for me. But I love his commitment to the fandoms that he's a part of. Like, he did a ton of stuff for Harry Potter. He's done years and years and stuff for Star Wars. Like, oh, he also seems like a good dude. Aubrey Miller was the little girl in the Ewok movie in the Battle for Endor. So now we know. The more you know. I don't know if I have the courage to go back and watch them.
I feel like that about a lot of things.
Like, I know little Emily really loved them. I don't know. I think it's going to hurt my heart to go back and watch it. Like, oh, this isn't the same. Also, I'm sorry. I'm on a whole weird brain downward spiral now. But so I'll tell you, I've never seen the Never Ending Story.
Whoa.
I know. So I'm curious. Like, I feel like I should watch it just to have watched it, but I'm very curious how that one's going to feel in 2022.
Probably still emotionally damaging.
Emotional damage. So, like, as a kid, was that one that you would watch often, or was it just one like you saw it once and it burned into your brain and then you never watched it again?
One time's enough. Unless you're introducing someone new to it, then you can watch it again. So you can get their reaction.
Okay. Wait. Hebe, there's a third one of Never Ending Story?
I knew they did at least 2 of them.
It's got the name, like, the name kind of implies that it just keeps going, but
Never end.
never end. I didn't know if they were doing a Land Before Time 13 straight to
Jesus.
VHS sequels.
Another Don Bluth hurt your feelings movie. Watch the mom die. Everybody watch the mom die.
No, now we're going to introduce you to a different mom, and hey, guess what? She's going to die too.
She also dies.
She also dies. There's 3. It came out in 1994. Oh my god, stop it! It says, also known as The Neverending Story 3, Return to Fantasia. Apparently Jack Black was in the third one. What is happening?
That makes sense.
But I feel like he wasn't as big of a deal in 94.
Oh no, I'm sure he's young.
Oh, can I tell you? I'm sorry. I don't know why I apologize. You all know me and have known me for years. You know this is what we get into. He's in the movie The Jackal with Bruce Willis, where he's like a crazy like assassin and everything, and it's very weird. So
Jack Black was in The Jackal.
I'm pretty sure.
Huh. I remember watching The Jackal like a million years ago. And now I'm curious to go back and watch it to see Jack Black because I don't remember him.
Yeah, I remember really enjoying The Jackal, but I have lost significant parts of it in my brain. Okay, it came out in 97. I just had to make sure. I was like, I'm pretty sure he's in it, but Hebe says The Jackal Black. That's funny. He Who Is Steve, spoilers from a movie from 97. I was getting around to it. It's like The Sixth Sense. At some point, I'll watch it. Wait, seriously? Jack Black was in Waterworld too? Stop it.
Yeah, he is. He's in that.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that was one where like I remember really enjoying that like as a kid and watching it and everything. And I don't think it's good. I don't know if I want to go back and rewatch it. Aw, thank you. Yeah, turning red, giving them the sparkle face. I'm trying to channel all my cuteness. This little friend. This cute little friend. Oh, he played the pilot. Oh my gosh. Mind blown. Just hit me with all of the pop culture brain explosions. Yes. Yeah, I would say stylized production wise, like costume design, it had, obviously, it had the feel of Mad Max, but the opposite of what they were searching for. Like, instead of desert, it's all water. Hooray! Totally new and different concept. Heck yeah, voice of Hunter. That is Venture Brothers. Good call.
Voice of Hunter. I know that guy.
Yeah. But you just had a new episode drop, right?
Yeah, the Older and Dumber podcast just dropped our Florida special. We recorded live in the poolside cabana when we went down to MegaCon during a thunderstorm.
Hooray! Much excite.
That one went live wherever you listen to podcasts yesterday. And then we have the COVID lockdown special up on Patreon right now. Because not all of us escaped MegaCon unscathed.
Oh, boo.
Wah, wah. I mean, at this point, I've had it twice, so I'm really just going for the trifecta at some point. I want to collect them all.
Sample all of the variants.
Yeah, exactly. That's what the Loki TV show taught me, right? Was that not what I was supposed to take away from that?
I think that is actually what it was about.
All right. Drew my cute. Now it's time to get serious. Over here. Voice of Hunter says, I was compromised. It's okay, Hunter. We still like you. Also, thank you, Dell. Dell says, we got the stamp of approval from the kiddo, which, as everyone knows, if the kid likes your stuff, then that means it's actually good. Because, boy, they'll be brutal, and they'll give you their honest opinion about whether it's good or not. Yes, Dell, I want to order the COVID flight. Amazing. The watercolor is happening.
Yes, it is.
Oh, Voice of Hunter says, save your work. Thank you, Voice of Hunter.
What?
I will tell you that I had actually already saved one. So 42 minutes in, and my piece had a name and everything.
Aren't you fancy?
I know. Whereas what the one piece I worked on the other day, I had gotten to literally like I'd already dropped in base colors. I was to the shading and adding details layer, and I was like, oh shit, I haven't saved. Like, what are you doing?
I backed up my computer the other day. I feel special.
Hey, you had talked about doing it, and you did it. That's exciting.
I know.
Is it chugging any less now?
No.
Oh.
It still takes about 20 minutes to start up. And you're like, okay. Stay good, please. Stay good.
Randall says, thank you for reminding me. I need to back up stuff on my PC, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, honestly, I could definitely. I literally have a beautiful terabyte portable hard drive like backup that I could just move stuff onto and back it up. Don't even have to get it off the computer. You could just back it up. And do I remember to do it? No, but I should. I should do it.
Anybody from the Pittsburgh region, just to let you know, Smithfield News just got robbed.
Seriously?
Really?
Yeah, I get alerts on my phone from Point Park Police, and there's been a robbery at Smithfield.
Wait, like today? Like now?
Like 17 minutes ago.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
So I don't know. I mean, if you're familiar with Pittsburgh and downtown, it really shouldn't be a surprise that Smithfield News got robbed.
No.
But you know. And if you're wondering, yes, it still looks exactly the same inside.
I will say when I was there recently, we drove past it, but we did not go in it.
They've rearranged it a little bit, and now there's like gambling machines inside.
Oh, fantastic!
Where you can people just sit there at the gambling machines right as you walk in the door. But I went in there before class. Like I had to actually park like away from campus one day, and I had to walk to class. I was like, I'm gonna stop by Smithfield News and get a drink. And I walked in there. I was like, oh my god, it's the same dirty place that it always has been.
Oh. I bought so much terrible, like powdered mix dispensed coffee from there.
Yep.
And
that was my
Vault.
Thursday. My Thursday ritual was always going down to there and getting a coffee because I had art history 2 in the morning and then something else in the afternoon that I hated too. So like in order to stay awake at 8 o'clock in the morning for 4 hours for art history class, I was like,
yeah,
large.
Those were rough.
Large cappuccino. I have to
Yep.
have it.
Yep. Oh yeah, like what? It was like 32 ounces or something like that. Like it was big.
Huge. Yeah.
It's like this is so much more than you should ever consume, but here we go.
But it's the only thing keeping me awake during this class.
Yeah, those 8 a.m. classes were awful. And again, like I get it from a class where you need work time and work time on the computer, but 4-hour classes are really brutal. Like
a 4-hour lecture class about the history of art, and no offense to anybody who's like art history major or into like the you know the masters and all that good stuff, but oh my god,
especially at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And they always pick the most monotone teachers.
Yeah, they turn the lights off, put on the slideshow, so you've got the hum from the like slide machine.
And it's just like it's a
Lulling you to
decent
sleep.
temperature in there. Like it's not too hot, it's not too cold. There's just a little bit of air movement, and you're in those like the desks that have the table attached to it,
Yep.
and you're just like, okay, don't lay down
Don't
on your
fall asleep.
arms. Don't
fall
do
asleep.
it.
Don't fall asleep. Thud.
Yep. Yeah, I managed to luck out with my my art history teacher because I got one of the very energetic ones who was a riot. And there's still stuff like she used to say that I say to my students now, which always makes me happy. But it was, oh gosh, her name was Kelly Corsi Gray, and she would do whenever there were like printouts from things that needed to get handed out to the students, she would sing like love notes from the administration. And I don't know why, but that sticks in my head, and I'll still sing it to my students, and they look at me like I'm crazy, which is what I want. So yeah, she was a lot of fun, but I think she was the only art history teacher that I had, so that was always good.
My first art history teacher was Mr. Hahn. He was like a like sculpting teacher.
Okay.
But he was like, he had this really monotone voice, and he
Jeez.
talked like, and we called him Mr. Yawn because he made you go to sleep. Like it was the worst.
It's one of those where I feel like it would literally be a premise for a cartoon to have that happen in school and have all the kids falling asleep. But I was like, but no, it was real. We lived it.
Yeah.
Ooh. So Hunter has a fun question. It says, what two cartoons would you love to see a special 1 hour mashup episode of? Okay, I gotta think on that one, Hunter. Do you, well, I guess, is it free range? Any cartoon from any era? Or, because I'm pretty sure, didn't the Jetsons meet the Flintstones at some point?
Yes, they did. It was a movie.
I feel like Scooby-Doo did a ton of crossovers.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh. Oh, I feel like it's not that big of a stretch, but I would love not old Scooby-Doo, but the newer Scooby-Doo that's got the exceptionally snarky writing, which I actually really enjoy. I'd love to see that like heavy-duty crossover with Venture Brothers.
Yeah,
like
good.
Because I feel like they have the same vibe, but if you could really push it, I feel like that would be fun. Okay, so let's say any cartoons you have seen, but none that have already done it. Fair. I like it. Oh, Dell, that's a really good one. She throws out Lilo and Stitch TV show and Steven Universe. Little girl and her alien dads meet little boy and his alien moms. I like it. I would watch that. Oh, so Lilo and Stitch is so good. It's so good. Ooh. Oh, okay. I would love to see the Real Adventures of Johnny Quest, the new one that was in the 90s. That with oh no, I had it, now I lost it. Gravity Falls. But I'd love to see Gravity Falls animated in that Johnny Quest style. Like Guardian Randy also says Real Adventures of Johnny Quest meets Batman the Animated Series. Oh, taking on Ra's al Ghul? Yeah. Oh. Soapbox Class just wants Dino Riders to come back. Yeah. Yeah, that would be cool. Like that one I feel like could actually happen and would be dope if it did. Proper Gravity Falls Owl House crossover. I would enjoy some Hilda She-Ra crossover action. I would enjoy that. Oh, oh, I have one. I'm sorry. I cracked myself up. I would love to see the new Voltron crossed over with the Lego Elves TV show, which I love and I don't care. And the toys don't look like anything because the animation was done by Studio Mirror, so it's all the like Legend of Korra style, which I love. But like you can't find anything from it except for like this one season of the show. But I would watch the shit out of that. Hunter, you're giving me all of these ideas of things I need to draw now. Guardian Randy, exactly what I'm saying. I feel like we should save this for a future episode prompt. Cartoon mashup. Oh yeah, Adventure Time versus Hilda, or versus Adventure Time with Hilda. Well, I know we have set tentatively, we have set all the dates for season 3, which takes us through the end of the year, which is exciting. And we have, I would say, 80% of the topics picked, but there is space for some write-ins, so we could definitely incorporate.
Should I drop the magic link into the chat?
I think that'd be great if you drop the magic link. Hey, look at that! Mayor Squish made a thing! Now it's easy
Yes,
for
I
you.
did.
Hebe, I can sense your sarcasm from here. My segues are amazing. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, he who is Steve. Just applied to go back to school for the BA. Make ya a badass. Oh, Voice of Hunter says G.I. Joe Care Bears. Again, let's go back to the Ewoks and let's
that already exists.
Yay for Steve. Oh, also Hebe. I have nothing to offer you, but we'll throw it out to everybody. Does anyone have any advice to relieve bodily fatigue when you need to put your body through hell for a third day in a row?
Stretching.
Oh, that's a good call.
You know, loosen up a little bit. Go for a walk. Clear
Take
your
a
head.
stupid walk for my stupid mental health. I think stretching is good though, especially, and I personally struggle with it because I can't always get myself to that point. But like sitting, either with like sitting on the floor with your feet together, kind of just breathing through, like feeling the different parts as you're stretching through. Some of the dance stuff that we do when we stretch, like that, actually like grounding my body and laying down and just focusing on different sections. I think that's the healthier option than just popping more pain pills, which is the thing I also do. So. It makes me think of the another favorite movie of mine with Groundhog's Day, when Bill Murray started to get really exhausted by it, and the day starts, and he's like, "Rise and shine, campers! Don't forget your booties, because it's cold out there." And you just see him, just like he's getting up, he's doing it, but he's not feeling good about it. Oh yeah, Soapbox Cloud's talking about getting a chance to go swimming, even if you're not like swimming laps, if you're just kind of relaxing and floating. Yeah. Okay, absolutely zero segue at all, but I don't care. So, how do all of you tackle drawing characters you're not so familiar with that you could draw from memory? So we'll say characters that you might have seen before but are relatively new to you. How do you break down getting familiar with them and then turning that into a piece?
I've actually never drawn any of these characters before, so I will break them down into their parts, like kind of how we've always been told how to draw, right?
Yep.
You break them down into simple shapes, and then you develop them from there. And obviously, if you've never drawn them before and they're well established characters, then you reference. But yeah, I'll just go ahead and just draw some shapes and get a pose, and then go from there.
Yeah, I try to find a pose that fits what I'm looking for out of the character, I guess.
Okay.
And then I'll look to like inspirational material. Like I'll look at things that fit the character, like other characters I know, or art styles that I'm going for, and I'll sort of work off that. And then again, yeah, like Jeff said, just break it down and work like that, but have that sort of inspiration reference to go off of.
So I'll say for both Joey and Jeff, I feel like you each have a very unique style that is very much yours. Do you ever worry or find yourself falling into replication rather than reimagining? Or do you think you have solidified yourself in your style enough that that's not as much of an issue?
Yeah, sometimes I feel like I'll be working on something and I'll be like, this is too samey, I guess. And then have to like scrap it and go back to the drawing board.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like if you're, because with established characters have certain styles, and that's like kind of another thing, like what Joey was talking about. Like you look for like inspiration as well as just the reference. So like I'll look and see how other artists have handled the same character that have distinct styles, so I can see how they've changed it or how they've simplified it, so I can be like, okay, that still works, you can still tell it's this character, so I could push my style a little bit more. But yeah, like a lot of times you'll draw something like a character and they'll look like the character, and then you kind of have to like push it. It's like pushing your poses. You have to just kind of go ahead and be like, okay, that's just my first sketch, and then I'll take that layer and I'll make it real light, and then I'll work off of that to kind of give it more of my style to it. But yeah, a lot of times you will find yourself falling into the, oh, this looks like it's supposed to look, as opposed to
right,
this isn't my style.
And I think it's an interesting thing because I think there's an absolute skill in being able to replicate a style, and it makes you employable if you want to go and work for a studio and follow someone else's model sheet. But if you're creating, fan art or reimagining, it can be very difficult to not just work on model. Yeah, I loved what you were saying, Jeff, because literally, so I started with, this one, which was just my super, super rough, like, this is the basic shape I want, but I don't really know. And then from there, I was like, okay, I'm feeling a little bit better about it. Now I can add in, this next one, which is finalizing it a little bit more, getting a little bit more personality, but still getting to know these characters that I've never drawn before. And now I'm starting to be like, okay, I'm feeling it a bit better. I can take down the opacity and start to actually put in the final.
Flash it out, do my thing. Yeah, that's a great looking pose too. So
thanks. So growing up, once again, I was all magical girl all the time. I didn't have any desire to draw anything else that wasn't cool Disney princesses or Sailor Moon characters. So I didn't ever spend any time drawing Hulk-like characters.
Yeah.
And there's a little part of me that's like, I wish I would have done just a little bit of it, because I'm definitely playing catch up on how those bodies move, and I catch myself soft lining them a little bit. They don't hit as hard because I've spent so much time drawing certain types of characters. So it's fun to push outside and draw these hulking characters that I never draw. But you know, it takes me more time, and there's a lot more brain that goes into it.
Well, there's definitely something to be said about drawing when you're having a good art day versus when you're drawing and having a bad art day as well. So
yes.
Sometimes you sit down and just knock something out, and you go to do the same thing like a week later, and you're like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how I ever did that the first time.
I just did this yesterday. Why doesn't it work now? Yep. No, I think there's a huge thing to be said about if you're having a bad art day, just drawing something that you feel confident in and feel good about, like, that's okay. A couple times recently where I'm like, I don't remember how arms or legs work anymore. So
I don't know how many times at a convention I've answered, I just cheat. How do you draw hands and feet? Yeah, you don't. You hide them. Rob Liefeld had the right idea.
Yup.
I found a way to make them easy for me, and now I draw them that way.
Yep.
Well, I think it's always an interesting question to me when someone asks commission wise, they're like, can you draw this? I'm like, I mean, yeah, the basic answer is yes. If there are reference pictures on the internet, yeah, I can probably draw it. I can probably figure it out. Will you be happy with how it looks? You know, I hope so. But there's an expectation of, I'm like, okay, do you just want me to recreate this character that you love? Or do you want to see my interpretation of it? Because those are two different things.
That is my biggest mental hurdle I need to get over at conventions. Like, people come up, are they familiar with my work? Like, have they actually looked at my table, or are they just looking to get a commission done? And in which case, like you said, do they just want me to draw the way this character's always been drawn, or do they want my version of it? And a lot of times I'll just be like, screw it. Like, this is how I'm going to draw it, and this is how it's going to be. Like, you should come up to somebody because you know their style, and that's how you want to have it done. Because, I mean, that's how I've always done it. If I've had commissions done by artists that I'm like, I want to see your interpretation of it.
Right.
So, but it's that mental thing is always there. Like, do they know who I am? They don't know who I am.
Well, and you know, I know we've all talked about this, and I've definitely mentioned it on stream before, but it cracks me up the number of people who have come to my table and asked me for horror or something intense. I'm like, you looked at all this cute shit, and you were like, you know what she's good at? Horror.
That's
like,
right.
I mean, I can, but don't you want somebody who is like great at like heavy black inks and all of this stuff, like creepy crawly, like gushy stuff? I'm like, I don't do any of that. And you know, for me, so much of my stuff is I'm realizing now, while I like drawing pinups of women and stuff like that, but a lot of my art just in general isn't pinups. It's funny commentary, or it's goofy poses, or it's something that makes me laugh or smile. So I'm going to take this thing that you might have just wanted a pinup of and be like, no, I'm going to make it worse. Don't you worry. And if that's not what you want, you should tell me right now. So yeah, so I'm with you, Jeff. There are definitely times where, and it's often, this is nothing against the customers, they'll be like, no, just do whatever you want. I'm like,
Yeah.
Okay, but I need us to take a moment. Do you actually mean that? Because I
will.
It.
Yeah.
Don't threaten me with a good time, because I'll do it. But yeah. Yes, Steve, horror can be cute. And obviously, I don't always know what people say to their friends after they walk away from the table. But luckily, I think I've only had one or two times where someone picked up their commission and it was maybe not what they were looking for specifically. But, they didn't say anything. They didn't ask for their money back. So, okay. But on the whole, people seem to enjoy them. So,
Yeah, that is a thing. Like I've finished commissions at shows, like those ones that come down to the wire, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so bad. Come pick up your commission, it's done, and then they get there and they love it. You're like, how? How did that happen? I hated that. I hated every second of it.
What's the girl's name from the Portal games?
Shell.
So I got commissioned to draw her. I hated the one that I did so much. I was to the coloring stage and I tore it up and started again because I'm like, I cannot give this to this person. I hate it. I hate it. So I drew it again. Yep. Where, anybody who's sitting at your table and around you, they're like, it's fine. I'm like, it's not fine. I'm not okay. Like, if they post this on the internet later, I'm going to be so mad because I hate it.
You don't understand. It doesn't live up to what's in my head.
Exactly. Yep. Also, just from a personal, please don't make me do this. I've had people come up to me with a commission like, draw whatever you want. I'm like, well, what do you like? And they're like, no, just whatever you want. And immediately I'm like, I don't like anything. I am a blank slate. I know nothing. I don't know how to draw. I'm like, please give me something.
Yeah,
please.
That's the worst.
And I genuinely think that people are just excited to see what you come up with. And it's not a trap. It's just like, you can't give me that much freedom because I will just hang myself with it. And I will be paralyzed by all of this until you come back and tell me something else.
You don't understand the burden that you've put on me.
Just give me a genre, even.
A mood board.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually did just get one of those. And thankfully there is a mood board for it. So I'm like, at least there's something. At least there's something.
And I mean, I've even had ones where people are like, yeah, I really like the way you draw girls, so just draw me one of your girls. And I'm just like, oh no. Oh no. But now that I'm being asked to do it, I can't draw any of these.
I can't draw girls.
What's a girl?
Again, going to the Inside Out movie where it's just like everybody's panicking and running around. Girl. Yep. I just want to tell people, I'm like, no, I know how ridiculous I sound. Don't you worry. I can hear how I sound, but please just put me out of my misery. Oh yeah, Guardian Randy brings up. We were talking about it at the show I did in Pittsburgh. If you're drawing on the flat table at a convention and not like having it tilted up towards you, and all of a sudden you go look, and I was like, "Oh God, it's a
What have I
slanted,
done?
it's a slanted monster."
How do
Why
I
is everything
how do I
leaning?
flip this?
Oh,
I can't even imagine drawing like that anymore. Flat.
yeah. Even I have a really nice like portable desktop easel, but sometimes on the convention table it's a little bit big to fit there
Yeah.
comfortably. But I'll even just stack up like a couple of pencil cases and prop my sketchbook up on that because I'm like, I cannot draw flat. I just no.
I still
You-
have. Is it over here? Maybe? I still have that big board that they gave us at the Art Institute.
Oh yeah.
I don't know where it is.
Pieces of kit.
You mean
Right alongside the black hoodie.
you guys got hoodies?
No,
No.
that was just the running joke when I was there. That every kid who got one of the kits got a black hoodie in it because everybody had one.
Look what I have.
You still have the case and everything.
I still have the big gigantic bag that they gave us.
I used the T-square the other day, and I was like, nope, it's still bulky and unruly. It's still not helpful, and it stabbed me at least once.
You mean this
The
one?
sword
This one?
that didn't fit in the bag, so you either had to have the T sticking out that would get caught on everything, or the
No.
spiky metal point that would scratch you.
You get this big end here, and you take a tennis ball and you shove it on the end of it so you don't get hit by or stab anybody by it.
Well, that would have been much smarter, but I was not that smart. I just chose pain.
So many treasures in this bag, I tell you. I still have the triangles too.
Yep. Keep assuming I'm going to use those for making comics. Haven't yet.
There's still. I think this one might be the only one that's not broken at the tip. Yeah.
Randall says I still use my AAP metal ruler to open packages.
Yes.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So many treasures in here. It's not even, I don't even know how old this stuff is. I still have the pad of tracing paper too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I don't think I ever used this ever. We won't even talk about the artwork that's in there. That's
Nope. Yeah, there was a moment where I was going back into my old stuff, specifically looking for a piece I remembered creating. And I was looking at some of it, and I'm like, okay, from a, 15 years later perspective, like, there were good bones in some of this, but some of the criticism I was getting was legitimate because I'm like, some of this shit's so bad. It's so bad.
I have no business drawing.
What was I doing? Why am I here? Oh, that was another thing that Randall and I were talking about. Did Joey or Jeff, did you have Giuliani for perspective or marker rendering?
I had something. I specifically remember the name, but I can't remember which class.
Okay.
It was probably perspective because I never had a marker rendering class.
Oh, okay.
But I definitely had them for something.
Yeah. It was out of all the teachers, like obviously as you went farther into animation, like Professor Love broke you in a very specific way, but this guy was like your first quarter teacher. Like,
oh yeah, I did have him for perspective.
Yeah, like
he had
I
like
would
a
come
goatee.
home in tears from his class, just so broken. I was ready to quit, and I was like, "It's the first quarter. I don't know what to do." So. Good times, college. Good times. What else? Batteries. Oh, has anybody watched Rescue Rangers yet? This is a question from chat.
Yes.
And are we happy?
I'm curious. I haven't watched
Terrible. It's friggin' terrible.
Really? You didn't like it?
Everybody says they liked it, and then my kids say that they liked it, but I thought it was terrible, and I'll tell you why. And I saw somebody else post this like on something, but like, so it's supposed to be this nostalgia trip for people, right? And it's supposed to be like, an ode to the old Disney afternoon 2D animation stuff,
right?
Mhm.
And they used 3D models and 2D cell shaded that crap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They didn't hand
I'm
draw
not
any
surprised.
of it. Which, if anybody knows me, knows that I hate that. Like, I hate cell shaded.
Yeah, the 3D for 2D that they
Hate
do a
it.
lot now. Yeah.
Like, there's no reason that you couldn't have gotten a 2D team together to do what they did. Like, it's I hate that. And if as soon as I see it, immediately I'm out. So like, and it's like, that's the reason I didn't finish the What If series, because like it looks fine, and the special effects are 2D, so they had a 2D team doing the special effects, which I do like the mix of 3D and 2D visual effects.
Yes,
but I hate cell shaded 3D, and I know it's irrational, and I know it's but it makes my blood boil every time I see it, just because I'm a 2D guy. So like, if you're gonna do 2D, just do 2D.
Yeah. Also, with that, the technology has come far enough. Like, you can do it in a reasonable way. It doesn't have.
Yeah, there's no budget reason for you not to do it. Like, there's really not anymore.
Yeah.
So like, you look at the TV shows that are coming out now, and they've got like amazing animation to them, and that's done on a television budget and on a television pipeline. So like, why couldn't you have done this for this movie that's supposed to be like, and everybody's like, oh, it's like I was watching a Who Framed Roger Rabbit sequel. It's like, no, it wasn't. Because Who Framed Roger Rabbit was good. I don't know. I know that I'm probably in the minority, but I did not care for that movie at all. I never have to see it again in my life.
No, that's why I asked. And I feel like with anything like that, where the main marketing shtick is animation, like that's your pitch, like I'm always going to be a little bit worried, because I'm just like, I feel like it is a marketing team that came up with this movie rather than an animation team. And those are very different movies. Like, it's cartoons in the 80s that were strictly made to sell toys versus cartoons that were made by people who really wanted to make cartoons.
I also can't get past the voices either. Like, I know that and there's, they explain it away, but like, I don't like that either. I didn't like the non squeaky voices for the main characters.
Well, it's definitely one I want to at least watch once.
Oh, you should. Like, you should watch it, but I'm never going to watch it again.
So question along those lines, because I'm with you on a lot of that, Jeff, and I struggle with things that are supposed to be 2D but are just cel-shaded 3D. I think the only one that warmed my cold heart with that was the short of Paperman.
Oh yeah, no, I'll agree with that. Yep,
that felt good, and it was one of those where I feel like there was so much attention paid to how the visuals looked. It wasn't just, we're trying to save time and we made a 3D model and then we slapped a cell shade on it. Like, it was like, no, like it looks like line work and it looks like this, but you've got you've got these crazy building perspectives that you now don't have to hand render. Like, that one made sense to me. And I was like, no, if you did a lot more like that, I'd be so on board and so game.
Yeah, and there are TV shows that do it well. Like usually it's a vehicle or something in a 2D show that has been done in 3D, and sometimes you can definitely tell, and sometimes it's like, oh wow, they actually did that really well. And a normal, someone who hasn't trained to a normie, someone who hasn't been trained to
every piece of this.
Yeah. They wouldn't have noticed, like I'm sure, like my kid has watched all of the What If stuff, and he would know the difference, obviously, but like, I'm just like, I can't do it.
There were certain times with What If where the animations of the humans bugged me.
Right.
And like you said, the explosions and all of the effects animations were so good. Yeah. And so then to have it felt like video game ragdoll movement, where I'm just like, yeah, I've seen it, but I've seen it in this very specific sense, and it doesn't, I'm not excited. I'm not wowed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is always funny bringing up those kind of complaints to like non-animation friends, and they're just like, "Oh, I thought it was fine."
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't fine.
It's not fine.
It's like garbage.
How could you even think that? We can't be friends.
Yeah, I feel like that's why some of my friends don't want to go to the animated movies with me anymore. They're like, you don't shut up. I'm like, but it bothered me.
You ruin everything we go to.
I'll never forget. I went and saw the first Cars movie in theaters, and I was losing my shit over the particle effects and like the smoke coming off of the wheels. And I was talking to somebody about, I was like, I can't even imagine the script that they had to write for that. Like, how do you get it to do this? And how do you get it to interact? Because it dissipates through the cars, but you don't want it to dissipate through the ground. Like, how would you set those things to stop it? And they're just like, Emily, why? And I'm like,
it's a cartoon.
But I was like, but it matters. I was like, okay, I'll let this one go. But
I can remember going to see The Phantom Menace when I was still in school, and they showed a trailer for Tarzan, which my friends and I were like super hyped for because it was awesome. Nope. And so this guy behind us goes, "Who cares? Show the movie." And my roommate turned around and he went, "Shut up! This is what I want to do for a living. You shut your mouth." And I was like, whoa.
Okay, but also that Tarzan movie fucking slaps.
Yeah.
I love too, like they watched all of the footage of like guys who do crazy rollerblading and skateboarding and stuff, that movement. I'm like, oh, it's so good. Once again, another one that I wasn't specifically watching for its historical accuracy.
No.
It's like, this is just fun for me. And then you got Phil Collins doing his thing. Ugh, so good. Ooh. Okay, so I'm catching up on chat, and Simkin is talking about something I hated as much as Jeff hates C&D is the animation from season 1 of the new Ghost in the Shell 2045 on Netflix. It feels so dead compared to the other standalone complex stuff. Standalone, yeah.
I mean, standalone complex is way up there for me, so I would probably go into it judging it harshly. I haven't watched it yet, but yeah, if it's because that show was, the animation in that was so good. But I don't know, maybe they're trying to slow it down on purpose like the old movies. Is that a thing? Like, is the plot still fast like Standalone Complex, or is it more of the slow burn like the movies? Because maybe they... Or it could just be dead animation. I haven't seen it, so I can't speak to it. So
it's all 3D modeled. Yeah. Well, I get nostalgic for the graininess of some of old anime, where you can see the blips and the imperfections, and the texture of the materials they use. Like, and I put it side by side with people who really loved what Firefly did with like digitally shaking the camera to match that kind of imperfection, and like things coming in and out of focus. And obviously so many things have done that since, and they weren't the only ones, but it's that type of stuff where I'm like, I almost want to see that type of stuff in the newer animation. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, make it a little imperfect. Like, that is fun, and that is character, and it gives it a lot of great life and energy. Oh, and I'm going to... Randall will have to help me because his memory is a lot better than mine on so many things. But he had sent me a YouTube video that was talking about how there's this trend where everybody's losing their bananas over 60 frames per second, specifically with like video game stuff, and how they're taking old things and remastering them to 60 frames per second, and how much it messes up the actual animation, and how like you lose hold frames, you lose the timing and the movement, because it's just this flat smush of smoothing.
Yeah.
And I give this YouTuber a ton of credit because they broke it down in a very concise way. I think it's probably still a little bit more of a deep dive if someone doesn't care that much, but it specifically talked about why animating on ones and animating on twos, and the amount of time that we spend on timing is so valuable, and how if you just make it super smooth, you're really not making it better.
Nope.
And yes, Tahibi's point in chat, I can deal. I don't hate some of the new 3D modeled anime that's coming out, because they're making it work and they're doing fun things, but it takes me more time to mentally get into it. Oh, yes, that's a very good way of saying it. It's like the animated equivalent of Botox. Where you're like, no, but your forehead is supposed to move. You're supposed to emote from your forehead. Why isn't it moving? Well, I'm just going to get up on my soapbox one more time and say that's why I friggin' loved Into the Spider-Verse and everything they did with that. Yeah. Speaking of ways that you could make 3D work really well and still incorporate 2D and pay attention to what is good about it and utilize that. Nicole, I'd like to say that one of these days, that when we all get together, it's not just going to be these deep dives into the super intricacies of college and animation, but I think it's a lie at this point. I don't think we can stop ourselves.
I don't mind. It gives me time to focus.
Like we were saying earlier too, like it's not a conversation you can have with everybody because a lot of people don't care. They're just like, just please stop. And I refuse to go on Reddit forums to go on about it.
Yeah, don't go there.
That's where I draw the line. Here, no further. No. Oh, Guardian Ranger says, Mayor Squish, well, you blabbermouths blab, I do the arts. And you do them so well, so it's clearly working in your favor. I agree.
I guess. I do care about what you guys say. I just don't know anything about it.
You keep talking because I'm drunk.
Yes, good. That's why I always get bummed out when people are having really impassioned conversations in front of my table at con and I'm trying to work on a commission because I'm like, no, I have things to say, but I can't be this passionate and draw at the same time. I need to talk with my hands.
Yeah, that's always rough because you don't want to be like, listen, do you want this commission to get done? Because it's not going to if you stand here and keep talking to me about it.
Yep. That's like, you have two options from me. You can get the art or you can get the opinions. I cannot do both. On an upside, working on Doodle Crew and doing art just more, I have gotten faster, but there's still a very specific divide of, can I focus my attention enough from one, just the stimulation of Comic-Con in general, where there's so much visual happening around me and conversation. Like, can I block all that out and draw? And two, manage my energy levels. Oh my gosh, I love this. Randall says, someone pointed out to me the other day that every time I talk about making a quesadilla, I folded my hands together with a clap motion. Cannot talk without hands. It's true. Also, yeah, Hebe, you have the benefit of, in your field, they get the art and the opinions. We can learn from your guidance. Okay, I'm getting real close to just putting this whole arm behind her back and calling it a day. Not friggin' working.
Time to change the pose.
Yeah, I like everything else about it. Can't stand that one part. Also, just from me not knowing anything about this cartoon or comic, like, I was reading the Wikipedia very quickly, and it was talking about how the girl in it is a social worker who helps out the character, but every single time she's in like ripped jeans and fishnets and tiny little. I was like, was that a style decision?
It was the 90s, so
okay.
That's just how people dressed.
Yeah. So I will admit to changing up her outfit a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely remember the cartoon. It was just ripped jeans and like a white tank top, right?
Yeah. And like real ripped. Like it looks like she went through some shit.
That's because Sam Keith loves to draw like string and stuff that comes off of people. Like he loves to do that kind of stuff. So.
So I kick myself for why do you keep drawing characters that have so much stupid detail? It's like watching the artists on TikTok where they're like, look at me do all of these little intricate circles on this lace piece on this thing I'm going to watercolor. I'm like, nope, not going to do that. That's not a thing I have the patience for. But what, sit and illustrate, 8 pages of comics where I'm drawing the same characters doing different things? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Why wouldn't I do that? Okay, so I'm going to say maybe 15 to 20-minute warning.
Oh my goodness.
My goal is to try and keep these episodes closer to 2 hours for season 3 now that we've kind of gotten in the rhythm of it. We'll see. But also if we get in a groove and it doesn't happen, then I'm fine with it too. Yeah, she's real leany. All right, I'm going to fix that a little bit. Also, I'd very much like to share with you all that I had the opportunity recently where I had a few days off and I had a ton of art to do. So I was working on art and I foolishly sat in the wrong chair while I was doing it and sat for too long and woke up the next day and felt like I had bruised my tailbone and it hurt to pick up my legs, like to try and like move them to like get in and out of bed. And I was like, cool, this is 35. Awesome. I love all of this. What did I do yesterday? I sat too much. That was how I hurt myself. Great. Love this for me. I sat on a cushion the rest of the time and I seem to be better now, but it was humbling to say the least. Okay, I've got another question. What is an animation style that you really, really appreciate and even enjoy watching, but would never want to draw in?
Can I say stop motion? It's not drawing, but stop motion animation.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yep. Yep. 1000%. Couldn't pay me to do it.
Absolutely love it. No, thank you.
It's a hard no for me.
takes a special kind of crazy, I think.
Yep. Which
No,
I'm
I do remember making stop motion videos when I was a kid with like the video camera and like my Legos and stuff. So
nope.
those
Even
were
then, I didn't want anything to do with it. I was like, that seems like so much work.
It's all straight ahead too. Like I can't do straight ahead animation. I can't. I need to do pose to pose, or else I'm gonna get lost.
Yeah. I think that's why when I was starting to animate in 3D, I was so lost because you can do pose to pose, but it felt very different. I never felt like I had the control that I wanted over 3D. Or I was just like, I just need to draw. I need to draw this.
Yeah, because the trick with 3D is like the computer kind of tries to figure out your in between, and you got to fix that.
Yeah.
If you do pose to pose, so like, I'm sure it's way different now since the last time I touched a 3D program, but
Yeah. I always enjoy telling people when they, I'm talking to career day or stuff like that, or just people asking me about college and everything. And I was like, yeah, I wasn't good at animation. Like I was really bad at it. And they look at me like, but you're a good artist. I'm like, not the same thing. I was like,
different.
no, I was just bad at this thing I wanted to do. And when I graduated, I was not good enough to get a job because I was bad at it.
Oops.
My father used to have that same scanner in the garage. Used to hear those sounds all the time.
That is the fire department across the street.
Yep. Yep, that makes sense.
I have my door open so I can hear things, and there's the fire department is directly across the street from my house. Ooh, that's terrible.
Yep. Randall says, my inability to work fast and loose will always be my downfall when it comes to animating. And I realized as I tried to animate something recently in Procreate, it was the timing. There is something about like I understand it as a concept and could explain it, but for some reason cannot seem to actually incorporate it into my animating. Where I'm just like, no, it looks stiff and boring. It doesn't have the life that I want it to, even though the poses are good. So I'm thinking maybe if I truly wanted it, that's something I could practice and get better at. But
Yep, that's the thing too, and that's what I tell all my students. They're just like, well, how does it get? How do you get to be like? You got to keep doing it. Like, this is the first time you've ever done this. Keep like after you've done it, I don't know, 100 times, it'll get better.
I wish we'd had more time in college to do things over and over and over again without it all having to be for a specific project.
Yep.
Brandel says, keep going. But Jeff, that's hard.
Yeah. I'm just going to quit. Yeah, that's why I like the curriculum that we have. It's like this next semester in fall, I'm teaching the fundamentals of animation. So we're literally just having 12 assignments, and each one of them is a different fundamental. So like you're going to do one assignment based on squash and stretch, one assignment based on timing and all that good stuff. And then the next semester, when we come back in spring, I'll be teaching classical animation 1, which is the 21 principles of animation, which you take you do the first assignment is a ball bounce, and then it's like you have to do it in perspective.
Ooh.
So we just kind of add a little bit more to it, but we're still looking at arcs and timing and squash and stretch. And then you do a brick drop, and then you focus on arcs and timing and all that good stuff. So it's like you're doing it over and over and over and over and over again. And students kind of get a little upset about it, but I'm like, listen, you literally asked me what the trick is, and the trick is repetition. Do it over and over and over again. So you can't get mad that we're doing all this stuff again and again and again. Like, we're trying to drill this into you so it's second nature, and you'll get it. Like, at one of these times it will click for you and you'll be thankful.
That doesn't sound like a quick, easy hack. That sounds like work.
Yeah, because there isn't one. Like, what's the trick? Well, you hit Control F3 and you let the computer do your work for you. Really?
Yeah.
No.
Control A for animate.
Yes. You hit the Make Art Good button and you're done.
I love that button. It's my favorite button.
There was a girl that my roommate worked with, and she asked him, she's like, well, what are you going to school for? He's like, computer animation. He goes, I don't like computer animation. The computer does all the work for you. And he's like, I have to walk away from you right now because it's not okay for me to hit you.
Yep.
You're like, yes, that's how it is. The computer does all the work. You're just a monkey that pushes a couple buttons. And
no thought between these ears. Just monkey push.
Yep.
Soapbox Clat says, but tell us how you really feel, Jeff.
Those weren't my words. Those are my roommate's words. So.
I feel like there's a weird distillation of like the people who look at some modern art and you're like, it's just a black dot on a white canvas. Like, I could do that. And like, for some reason that extends to so many different facets of art. And I'm just like, I don't think you understand though. And I always reference, somebody like Jackson Pollock, where they're like, yeah, they just splattered stuff on the canvas. I'm like,
not really.
Not really, though. I mean, also, to be fair with that one, there's a hefty dose of mental illness, which, hey, that's up to you whether you want that part or not. But the alcoholism is optional. But I was like, no, there's a lot more to this than cursory glance might pick up.
Yeah, there's actual thought that goes into that, and you don't realize it until you try to do it.
Yeah. And I think a big part of it too is, what do you want to get out of this art? Like, do you just want to say, yep, I painted a white canvas and put a black dot on it and now I made art? Like, okay, yeah, you made art. But like, did the process do anything for you? Did the act of creation mean anything to you? Because I feel like that part is lost, that there was a journey to get to this point in the art. Like, sometimes the more important part of it was the creation and not necessarily the final product. Well, hey, what do I know? I slept through art history. Yeah, no, exactly. Soapbox thoughts. I can look at a lot of fine art and go, yeah, I don't get it, but I know there's usually intent and meaning there for those who can see it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with the idea, too, that some art means something more to someone else than it does to me. That's not a bad thing. Not every piece of artwork is for me.
What?
I know. Just talking crazy talk here this morning. Mayor Squish, I am loving the expressions of these characters.
Thank you.
Gotten 2 good puppy sounds in a row. Got some good Foley work going this morning.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So Jeff, when do we get the opportunity to buy your Pokemon stickers?
Oh my gosh, I don't know yet. I can't stop drawing them. This is the problem. It's like, oh, it's a warm up time. It's time to draw another one. Hopefully soon. We'll see.
Oh, they're super fun. Again, something I feel like is challenging because they are so simplistic and have such a specific look to them. Like, I am impressed that you still managed to give them so much of your style.
That's something that I'm consciously pushing in those. Is like, I need to stay loose and make them more my style, but still make them recognizable, obviously. But like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, I have to make sure that I have my style. Like, I could draw them as is, but I'm like, okay, well, this is how I would do this. This is how I would do the feet or the hands or the eyes or whatever. So it's a challenge.
Oh, that's awesome. I haven't had a chance to do it in a while because I haven't taught an ongoing class, but there was a project I used to always love doing with the students where I called it the class created character. And at the start of it, to kind of introduce them to it, I would explain, I'm like, okay, So I'm going to distill a character down into just a few descriptive words. So I said it's a teenage boy. He wears an orange jumpsuit. He has spiky yellow hair, and he has power that comes from his hands. And I said, who do you think of? And just who pops to mind? And depending on the age of the students, I usually would get Naruto, which is one of them, but also Goku from Dragon Ball Z when he's in Super Saiyan form. So I said, you couldn't really get, much farther apart in style with the same descriptors for these characters. So I would have them then make a list with me. So we'd pick, boy or girl, old or young, and then give them an activity. And the goal was to see each person, you're all designing quote unquote the same character, but none of these characters are going to look the same. And it was fun to see them work through how they wanted to represent just this group of attributes. I enjoyed that very much.
That is pretty cool.
And I think and this is somewhat, because I teach some slightly younger kids at times, like middle school, it kind of eliminates so many of them come in with their own original characters, but moving outside of that is sometimes hard. Either the kids are great at it and they have just an untapped well of characters they can draw from, or they kind of struggle when it comes to making a new character. So it eliminates you have to come up with everything on your own. Now you're just interpreting these words and what do you see in your brain. I'm constantly impressed by the creativity of some of the kids and what they come up with. And we put them in silly situations, and then we usually develop a silly story from it. And it's good, clean fun. Some good, clean fun with the kids.
I think that was like one of the more challenging things for my class. My Classical 2 class that I taught was I had to have, like, the second half of the class was just I had to teach them how to rig in Toon Boom Harmony. And I'm like, okay, you're going to design a character. I was like, and this week you're going to, that's what you're doing this week. You're just designing your character. And I was like, don't make it too complex because we're rigging it, which means You're going to have every piece that you put on this thing is going to be a piece that you're going to have to figure out how to get it to look right. And I had such a wide variety of, like, either super generic looking, just t-shirt and pants character. And I had this one student, and she nailed the rig too. And it was like this rollerblader, but they had like all this stuff, like so much stuff on them, so much detail. And I was like, you do understand that all that detail is you're gonna have to figure out how that works. And she's like, yeah. I was like, okay, cool. And she figured it out. And I was like, that's awesome that you nailed this. And it wasn't like where, oh, I'm going to cover up a seam by putting like elbow pads or cuffs or whatever. It was just like, that was just part of the design. So like the cuffs weren't in these strategic places to cover up seams and stuff in the rig. They had to just figure it out. And she nailed it. And I was like, man,
that's so
I told you to keep it simple and you didn't do it and you still nailed it. And I'm like, this is awesome.
I love that. That makes me so happy.
And then I had people who did like the t-shirt and jeans things and couldn't get their stuff to work right. I'm like, all right. Like I think I went over how to rig an arm rig 4 different times during that second half of that class because like nobody, like half the people just could not get it. And I'm like, just watch me do it. Do it right afterwards. And they're like, oh, I'll get it later. I'm like, no, you won't. No, do it now while it's fresh.
Yep. Yeah, to just take notes to then try and go home and recreate that. I can't. That's not how I learn. I have to physically, like, I need to touch it. I need to do it. I need to fail and then figure out why I failed in a controlled environment. And then I can, move on and teach myself more. But yeah, without that first part, no, I'm sunk. not gonna lie too. As you were talking about it, I was like, man, I want to audit one of these classes. That sounds so cool. Like, I want to learn how to do this. I'll never use it, but I want to learn how to do this.
Well, like I had my whole curriculum set up before I started, like for that syllabus for that class, and like then I finally got to that point, and I was like, oh my gosh, they don't have the right version of Toon Boom. Like we have not the lowest one, but like there's 3 tiers now, so it's like you get like basic, and then you've got the advanced, which is what we have, and then there's premium. Premium is what studios use because it has the node system that's all set up. That's how you rig your characters. That's how they're going to rig characters professionally. And so I got to it. I was like, all right, man, we're going to do the node system. And like, I'm looking for it. And it's not in this thing. And I'm like, what version do we have? And they're like, we have advanced. And I was like, oh, okay, we're going to rig characters completely differently.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, luckily though, the way that we rigged them was the same way you rig them in Animate. So I was like, you know, I've used Animate way more than I've used Harmony. I was like, so we've got this, but it's not these rigs aren't going to be as cool as I wanted them to be. And so we went through the whole thing, and then the last day of class, I was like, I'm going to show you guys this interview that Toon Boom has done with a professional rigger, and I'm going to show you what a rig really looks like. And so their rig that they did, they just one character rig, but it's like you get the full turnaround, and you've got controllers and all this other stuff. I'm like, this is the kind of stuff that you'll see when you go into a studio. Like, you're going to have someone whose specific job is to rig characters. You're going to have someone whose specific job is to animate. And like, so there's all these different ways you can get into a studio. And I was like, so you're going to get handed a rig if you're an animator that looks like this. And it's like this big, they're just like, how do you do things? I was like, your rigger will set up controls for you. And all you have to do is grab this little controller and move it around this little box, and your character's head moves around like this. Like, they make your job so much easier, and you'll love them for it.
And you should be nice to them.
That's right.
Excuse me.
Oh
my gosh. I don't know if you're running into it too, but the allergies up here have been so bad the last few days. Like, I've been taking so much allergy meds, but like my sinuses have been going crazy. I've got nasty postnasal drip. I'm just like, This is awful. I hate this.
Yep.
So, I'll go to do a little sniff and it'll shoot gross mucus into the back of my throat, and I'll choke on it. I'm like, wow, all of that was awful. Cool. Can we not do that again? Okay. So, Jeff, are you ready for some show and tell?
I'm done.
Slide you over. Give the other two a few more moments to finish. Not that one. Not that one. Give it. There we go.
There I am.
There we go. Look at these fun friends.
I lied at the beginning. I colored them.
You did lie. I was watching you do it, and I was like, ha, 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 ha. Just had to give you enough time.
That's right.
Rocco and Heifer make me so happy. They're all so fun.
I'd like to remind everybody that Rocco was his job was at a sex phone line place. So, and it was a children's cartoon that was shown on Nickelodeon.
Yep. Nope. The amount of insanity they got away with in that show, is just amazing to me. So, I'm just like, High Five Ghost. I need more High Five Ghost in my life. That's what I'm realizing.
Yeah,
Also,
I think I'm happiest with those two down at the end there. So.
Well, that's funny because you were warming up into them.
Yep. Yeah, that's usually how it goes.
Oh yeah, I feel you. Guardian Rainer says, under promise and over deliver, as demonstrated by Mr. Jeff Munn. Heck yeah.
That's right.
We are full of educational facts today. That is a big one. If I could recommend nothing else. No, they're great. I'm also impressed too because I feel like Rocco had such a crazy color combination, but all of the palettes still, you managed to make them work really well together.
They do work, and that's the crazy thing because you look at that show and it's so 90s, like the
90s.
the colors and everything, but they still work together, and that's always a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Well, hey, where can people find you, follow you, support your work?
You can follow me on Instagram at Jeff Munn. You can follow me. You could friend me on Facebook if you'd like to. GEOFFMUNN. My website, jeffmunn.com. You can go check out some of my work. It's usually just full of stuff where I send potential clients. And if you can, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/pocketscience. And again, that's where I kind of post my comics. I'll post them a couple days ahead of time, where I do a comic called #Parenting, which is about raising kids. And then I've kind of been reworking another comic that was exclusive to the Patreon called Giant Bastard. And I am working on a video game, an arcade beat 'em up, based off of my old comic kiosk, Life in Neutral.
Yay! That's awesome. Soapbox Clouds, I feel you, and this comment needs to be highlighted. I feel like complimenting Jeff is like telling Michael Jordan he played a good game. Goes without saying. It's true.
Thank you.
It's true. But no, that's why we are always so happy to have you on with us, Jeff. I'm
No, it's
so glad
always
it's working out. Yeah. Joey or
Oh,
Nicole?
is it me?
You could be you. Let's be you. You responded first. You get it.
I finished just in time.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, look at that pose. Oh, I love it.
It slowed me down a little bit.
No, you got a lot. Like you said, 2 hands and a foot. Like
You did, yeah.
Also, when like hips crunch up like that and your body bit, like none of that makes sense. I did this to myself. Yeah, no, that turned out awesome. I'm excited to see, bust in some other colors and get some cool backgrounds.
Get the shades in here. I want to do so. I dropped that reference pick out so I can move stuff around, but where is it? I want to do the old G.I. Joe card art background behind it.
Yeah.
I feel like I put so much pressure on myself to do crazy backgrounds where like a well done blast like that works as a background. You don't need it to be that much more. And no, that's gonna look really cool. Yeah, I'm with Soapbox Class. Love the dynamic energy. No, it's got so much movement to it. Very, very cool. Hey, and where can people find you, support you, follow you, all the things?
Sure, you can play games with me or find me anywhere on the internet at Slooty Mage. You can also hear me and my buddies talking about the world on our podcast, Older and Dumber. We just released a new episode yesterday. So really appreciate it if you all checked it out.
Yeah.
Links in the promote yourself in the Discord.
Yeah. As I love, because Mayor Squish asked all of us, she's like, yeah, does anybody need to update their things? Everybody's like, oh, yeah, I could do it. And then, like, as we're going through, I'm like, oh, shoot, yeah, we all need to update our things. We are all very good at this. Yeah, all right. Highlighting these fun friends. Look at these friends.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I'm not quite finished, but
I love it. I love it so much. Oh, the squishiness you got with the clouds and
I don't know what kind of planet would have a garbage dump next to a Candyland, but
Oh, I'm sorry. Have you not been to America?
No, got him.
Zing! Hey! No, this is awesome. I can't wait to see. Yeah, like I just, it's giving me the old animation, like 2D animation vibes where the background was watercolor painted and then the cell sits on top, and I love it so much.
I remember when I was a kid, at some point I figured that out. I was like, oh, I know why they do this, because it's easier to animate if it's simpler.
Yep.
I felt pretty smart.
Yeah. Hey, no, it is one of those where you can get as much or as little out of your cartoons as you want. And, you can call out which book the Scooby-Doo gang is going to pull out of the bookshelf, or you could just accept that they run down a hallway that is 80 meters long and has the same candlestick 18 times.
It's all doors.
It's all doors.
There's 82 doors in this hallway, so they can run in and out of them.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, hey, where can people find you, follow you, and support you?
Yeah, you can find me pretty much anywhere at Mayor Squish, and sometimes at Mayor Squish Art, because sometimes Mayor Squish was taken, which, like, why? But yeah.
Yay! And you said you were at one point in the process of getting that Etsy back up, and
yes, it looks like maybe the second week of July.
Woohoo! Awesome! Very excited! Yay! So Randall says, "I remember these characters and I love them." Soapbox Scott says, "I don't know these characters, but they look dope." I like it. Yeah, some fairly odd friends. All right. Move me. My turn. Yay! All right, so we started with the cuteness. Just keep zooming in. See the cuteness. Yeah. So yeah, from the Jetsons movie, this was the first one, and then I switched over to drawing the Max. So this was a little bit more of a composition piece, but I take very little actual. I am not familiar with this source, but it was a multi-world thing where there's the actual real world they're living in, and then the kind of fantasy world of how they're coping. So I liked the juxtaposition of the two different characters and everything. But yeah, and he's purple, so I got to draw him purple, which is fun. So yeah, I might bring these back and draw these some more. They were more fun than I was expecting. So yes, adorable squishy baby friend and a meaty squishy giant baby friend. Yeah. Hey, thanks, Soapbox Class. Yeah, I'm happy. So if you want to see more of my stuff, you can follow me across the internet at a swan named Emily. I do Doodle Crew. I do sketching Shakespeare. I'm on a podcast called In Addition, which every other Wednesday, certain Wednesdays, you'll have to follow us over on twitch.tv/inaddpod to figure out when, because we don't even know when we're going live sometimes. This topic is actually one that we discussed, so that episode's going to be dropping probably next week. If you want to hear that crew talk about animation and different cartoons. Yeah, also head over to my YouTube if you want to see more of these episodes, or if you missed one and they are not on my Twitch anymore. And yeah, I think that's all the things. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for another great Saturday morning cartoons. You can follow us, Doodle Crew, across the internet at Doodle Crew Draw. We are back. We're up. We're posting art. We've got. I called in a ringer and had someone else help me because I was not going to be able to post any artwork, and it's been months. So you're going to get to see some oldies but goodies from old episodes in season 2, but that art's going to start making its way out there. And as always, if you have any requests or things you'd like to see us draw, hit us up. Join our Discord. Come be our friends. We love you. Goodbye.